So you probably just saw that that title and went, how are you going to do this? Well, it's me. So here we go. So yes, we are doing a Owl House, Gravity Falls, and Psycho crossover. Now, it's going to make sense in a second. It really is. Just follow with me. But yeah. So let's get started. So the story begins in Gravity Falls, just during the summer, and Stan and the twins are basically cleaning out the attic. And among all this, they find a photo of Stan's ex-wife, Marilyn, who, of course, is Ida. Now, Stan is Stan's like, oh man, Marilyn, that was a nightmare. I cursed the day I met Marilyn. But on the back of the picture, Mabel sees something. He's like, oh no, photo's going in the garbage, kids. And she's like, what's that over there? Money! Ooh, money! Yoink! So, Mabel flips the photo over, and it reads, to Stan, we'll always have the Bates Motel. So, and he's like, the Bates and Dipper goes, the Bates Motel? You went to the Bates Motel? And Mabel's like, the Bates Motel? And Dipper explains, when he would listen to crime podcasts, and the Bates Motel murders were brought up a lot. They talked about an episode, it's one of the most infamous, in this universe, it's one of the most infamous murders that occurred from the 60s, there were so many murders that were linked to it, and there was so many bodies linked to it, and yeah, the murders went on from somewhere in the 50s to all the way to the early to the early 90s. And Norman Bates died a free man years later, after psychiatric treatment. But there was he had several murders, one being Marilyn Burns, and they're and Dipper goes, wait, was Marilyn were you married to that Marilyn Burns? And he goes, no, I wish. Kids, I'm gonna tell you guys a story about a lost chapter in my life that I will never forget. Until I start drinking tonight. Then I'm gonna totally forget. So, Stan begins his story. So Stan begins his story, and this is set after his, basically he always talked about Marilyn, or we'll just call her Ida. His marriage to Ida was a one-night stand. It was a overnight thing in Vegas. But it turns out Stan was lying because there was stuff that happened that he doesn't want to talk about, and this was one of them. So what happened was, Stan and Ida, after getting married, they didn't get married in Vegas. See, they got married somewhere else. They got married in a different state and were going to Vegas. But the thing is, they needed money. And Mabel goes, so what did you guys do, rob a bank? And Dipper goes, there's no way you'd rob a bank. And he pauses and goes, holy shit, you robbed a bank, didn't you? So yes, Ida and Stan robbed a bank to go spend the money in Vegas as a honeymoon thing. So while they were headed there, the car was having engine trouble. Fortunately, they found they were driving up to near the Bates Motel. So Stan managed to keep the car going until they could finally reach it. So they head inside to check in. Rings the bell. Norman comes out and is like, "Hello, I'm Norman. I take care of the place." It's like, "Are you checking in?" And he goes, "Yeah, String Bing, we are. My new wife and I need a room for the night, so I can I can try to fix my car." And he's like, "Oh, don't worry. I can call someone. I know there's a mechanic nearby, and he can check it tomorrow. He can check it sometime today." And he's like, "No. I don't let anyone touch my car, Norman. We just need a room for the night. I just need to get some supplies and whatnot." He's like, tools. I can get them from my mother's house." And he's like, "Mother's house?" So he points up to that house, and Ida's like, "So that's creepy." he's like, oh, don't worry about. Norman's like, oh, don't worry about Mother. She's fine. She's just antisocial. I'll go get you those tools, Mr. Smith. Yeah, Smith. This is and he's like trying to think of a name for Ida, and Eddie, and Ida goes, Ida Smith, and he's like, Stan and Ida Smith. I like that. So I'll run and go get those tools for you. So, and he's like, good save, and she's like, yeah, totally, good save. So they head into they get their room, and already Ida's like, that that guy is weird, right? Like, that guy is that guy's a little fucked up, right? And he's like, yeah, don't I know it? But like, we got other problems. That car, if I don't fix that car, the cops are gonna be scoping this area, and if they catch us, we ain't gonna make it without that car to Vegas. So I need those tools, and I need them now, or we're fucked, or we are 100% thoroughly fucked on this matter. So yeah. And Ida, however, is not letting this go, because she's like, there's something up with that Norman guy. And he goes, yeah, sure, but like, we can't deal with that right now. We got Vegas, Viva Las Vegas, baby. So Stan goes. Norman at that moment like knocks on the door, and he's like, Mr. Smith, here, I brought you the tools, and I took the liberty of making some sandwiches for you, some food, if you'd like. And he's like, thanks, Norman. Is that gonna be no upcharge. So Stan's like, thanks, gonna work on my car now. So Stan goes to work on the car when Norman leaves, and Ida's just like, well, this is super weird, but I need to take a shower. And but as she's getting ready to take a shower, she hears like Norman having an argument out in the house, all the way from the house, and she's like, well, that's it's a little concerning. So Stan is working on the car, Stan's working on the car, and even he's trying to ignore the argument, but he's like thinking to himself, there is he can't he has to agree with Ida that something is very weird. It's something weird's going on here. Like, it's something really fucked up's going on. Meanwhile, back with Ida, she's the curiosity bug's growing deeper inside of her, but it stops when she sees like the curse is spreading again. So she has to like fumble through her luggage to get like an elixir real fast. And as she's like drinking it, she doesn't notice that someone's watching her from the inside of the bathroom. And of course, it's Norman. And Norman is like taken aback by this because he clearly saw feathers on this woman, so something weird's going on. And he goes to talk to Mother, and he's like, Mother, there's something wrong with the guests. One of them, I must be going crazy, but I thought I saw feathers on them. And Norman's mother, again, goes, oh, Norman, you stupid boy, but there is something weird about them. They're going to hurt us, Norman. They're going to hurt us, and you have to stop them. He's like, well, what can I do? He's like, you're not going to do anything, Norman. I'm going to have to do something, as always, you stupid boy. And he's like, Mother, I don't want to fight you right now. No, you don't want to fight. You don't want to have a spine to do what's necessary. If those two people come here, what are you going to do if they come to take our things? Hurt me? Nothing, you stupid boy. He's like, Mother, I really don't want to argue with you, and leaves. But meanwhile, Ida's finally getting ready for a shower, and at that point, Stan is still working on the car, and he just is like, he gets frustrated and goes to look for a soda machine to just drink something and just take a breath. It's at that moment when, shower scene happens for Ida, but Ida uses her magic and just blasts, attacks her attacker real fast. And while she doesn't see it's Norman, she does see it's a woman, really burly woman, and goes to tell Stan. Like, she's in a towel, and he's like, at first he's like, "Hey, Marilyn, I didn't think you were this cute, kinky. I didn't know, in public stuff was your thing, but I'm totally into it." He's like, "Take his no, you idiot! Norman's mother just tried to stab me." And he's like, "What? No one gets to hurt my wife physically or emotionally unless it's me when I'm drinking." So Stan and Ida go after Ida gets dressed, of course. Go to the Bates house, and Stan knocks on the door furiously. He's like, "Bates, get out here and get an ass whooping. I'm not afraid to deck an old lady. Trust me, I've done it many times in the past." So it isn't until like Stan and Ida force their way in, and they're looking around the house. They're looking around. They're trying to find Norman or his mom, and they split. Of course, they do the cardinal sin of splitting up. They do the absolute cardinal sin of splitting. And what happens is Stan's looking in the upper, like he's about to go in the bedroom. Norman comes flying out, stabs him in the shoulder, and he has that like classic fall down the stairs. He does survive, but it does look like he gets killed. And Ida goes downstairs to the basement, finds the remains of Mrs. Bates, and that's when Norman comes flying in. Stan like has a shovel and just bashes him in the head and is like, "Let's get the hell out of here." So they leave, and it leads to them going to Las Vegas that night, leading to them Ida taking the money in the car and driving off the next day. So by the end of it, Stan finishes his story, and he's like, "And that's my story, kids. That's the night I learned about evil. I mean, and then I relearned evil when I saw Bill and all the cosmic shit my twin brother unleashed. But you already know that story." And he's like, "But whatever happened? Do you ever wonder what happened to Ida?" Like, yeah, they're trying. He's like, "Do you ever wonder what happened to Marilyn?" And he's like, "I don't know, and I don't care. Hope she's good, though. I hope she thinks about me when she's having sex with someone else." And Dipper goes, "Gross." So we cut over to the Boiling Isles, and incidentally, Ida Luz is helping Ida clean out some stuff from her house, and finds an old photo as well. And it reads like, to Marilyn, "Bitch, I hope you're dead." P.S. We'll always have the Bates Motel. And Luz is like, "The Bates Motel? You gotta tell me that story, Ida." And she's like, "Alright, I need some apple blood first." And there's the story. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much the Gravity Falls Owl House Psycho crossover. This is the first time I've ever done Psycho in a fanfiction idea, because it doesn't really lend itself to the other things I've done. But I figured, hey, wouldn't it be fun as like a lost chapter kind of story for Ida and Stan's marriage, that they encountered Norman Bates? This idea literally came to me while I was out on a walk today. So this was pretty fun. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this story? Like it, hate it, comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.